So, in the last few months, you've probably seen a few VRChat users and creators moving on to the MetaQuest Pro as their main headset for VRChat. Enthusiasts who have been using the Index or Vive Pro kits with full body tracking for years are now buying the MetaQuest Pro, a headset that was considered overpriced at launch and didn't even offer that much over the Quest 2, and now in 2024, the Quest 3 costs half as much and boasts better specs and features. It makes no sense why anyone would buy the Quest Pro when the Quest 3 is just better. But hey, VR enthusiasts haven't been the most well known for spending their money wisely. So the Quest Pro, what does it offer VRChat users over the Quest 3? Eye and face tracking, and that's it really. The Quest 3 has a more powerful processor, better screens, slightly wider field of view, more accessories and comfort options, arguably better controllers, much better pass-through and AR capabilities, and yet, many VRChat users right now are moving to the Quest Pro as their main headset. Face tracking does add a lot to the overall VRChat experience, and it's very similar to when you first get full body, where until you experience it yourself, it seems like it isn't that big of a deal, but once you have it, it's hard to really imagine going back. But seriously though, if you have to pick just one, and you plan to play a lot more games than just VRChat, just get the Quest 3. It's honestly superior and would be a better pick for almost every other game besides VRChat. But chances are you may have already been partially convinced to get the Quest Pro, and you're sitting there like,
no, I like it. This is brilliant. But I like this.
Yes, it has full face tracking, and this does add another level to the whole social experience. But even this isn't quite as plug and play for VRChat as you might think. First of all, you'll need a third-party program called VRC Face Tracking with the proper modules installed for your particular headset in order to drive the face tracking through VRChat OSC. After you have that set up, you'll still need an avatar that supports face tracking. Most VRChat avatars will not be set up for it, so you may only get very simple eye tracking with most avatars. For full face tracking, the avatar needs to be set up with the proper blend shapes and then be configured for face tracking in Unity with a template. There are some avatars, such as some models made on Booth or Gumroad, which some people have set up add-ons that you can apply to give your avatar face tracking. But if this isn't already set up for your particular avatar base, then you may need to work on the face tracking system yourself. After you have that all set up, then you have face tracking for VRChat. Now moving on to just the headset and controllers themselves, and this is where I really think that the comparison between the Quest Pro and the Quest 3 leans more in favor of the Quest 3. First of all, just the fit and comfort of the headsets. The Quest Pro has a fit that's similar to like a Halo style headband, but the pressure sits only on the very front and back of your head. There's also surprisingly little padding for a headset that costs this much. The front of the headset hovers in front of your face, and even with the light blockers on the side or the full face gasket, it doesn't support any of the weight like a typical face interface would, where it puts it on your face. This is actually something that I prefer on the Quest 3 and other headsets, where the headset will have some of the pressure resting on the front of your face to help relieve the overall pressure on how the headset sits on your head. And I also do find that the other full face gasket headsets like the Quest 3 do help to support the headset more from wobbling side to side. Both the Quest Pro and the Quest 3 have optional headband upgrades for comfort, and I do think that it's required for both headsets. Although the Quest 3 has more options to find something that suits your preference, whereas the Quest Pro is more limited in the style of headbands you can have. When it comes to controllers, it may surprise you, but I think that the Quest 3 controllers are just better. Yes, the Pro controllers can track themselves, but they seem to be a failure point for some people as well. Reports of controllers overheating, or software updates that harm the controller's tracking accuracy. As well, the Pro controllers aren't immune to losing their position either, but when they do lose their position in space, they will drift off, and then recalibration isn't instant either. It takes a few seconds for after the controller drifts off to hover in space and then slowly drift back to its proper position where you're holding it. The Quest 3 controllers, on the other hand, use the tried and true method of tracking from the headset, and while it is easier to occlude them behind your back or behind something to lose tracking, when they recalibrate, it's instantaneous, so you almost never notice the tracking break. With the Quest Pro, many who were using full setups with full body tracking and Index or Vive Pro systems use a mixed setup where they may use the Quest Pro headset combined with Index controllers and then full body tracking, and then combine these systems in Steam VR with place-based calibrator and continuous calibration. This is another level of things to consider, and if you are wanting a more stable and simple setup, the Quest 3 still wins in this regard, as it's just simpler, more stable, with less points of failure. That said, I still did decide to use the Quest Pro over the Quest 3 for VRChat just for the one feature that does offer over the Quest 3. Quest Pros have dropped in price over time, and there is a large secondhand market as well, where you can buy a used one for cheaper. Just be aware though that if you are planning to buy a secondhand Quest Pro, even if you do plan to use a mixed setup with Index controllers, you still need the Pro controllers to get past the initial setup of the headset, otherwise you will be soft locked setting up the headset. So while there are plenty of secondhand options for cheap Quest Pros headset only, really avoid those unless you can get the controllers as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The Quest 3 is just better, and I really do recommend that be the headset that you get if you're looking for the best all-arounder right now. But if you're already decided on the Quest Pro for its face tracking features, then hey, come join the club.